Well, it's great to be here with you all today. Um, Certainly want to thank the Chamber for affording the Office of the Mayor this opportunity to share reflections and thoughts on the previous year. Before I do that, certainly I serve with some fine folks, and I want to acknowledge all of my council representatives that are here today. Let me start with Carol Strain Burke, who represents District 1. He's around here somewhere. Stanley Jaglowski represents District 2. I had my eyes checked, but I believe that's Marco Mejia, who represents District 3 here in town. We've got Spencer Hervey, who represents District 4. And we have our Mayor Pro Tem, Clyde Hairston, who represents District 5. So thank you guys for being here and supporting me in this effort. Certainly, I have not been able to do this without the support of my wife and my family, so my wife Tangamana is here. And I appreciate our staff who have come to hear what my thoughts are about this past year and certainly what we can look forward to in 2018. So typically I'm kind of instinctual, and Opal asked me the other day, well, Mayor, what's your theme gonna be? What's your theme gonna be? I said, well, I don't know yet, Opal, but I'll let you know. So it came to me in my sleep. But really I want to focus on what I call 2017, a year of community building. So as most of you know, people tend to focus on infrastructure and those kinds of things, and we have several goals that as a council we try to address year after year, and let me just give you a review of those. So fiscally sound city government, civic engagement, healthy, safe, and vibrant community, professional and committed workforce, quality development, and sound infrastructure. And so I'd like to just go over some highlights of some of those goals as it pertains to 2017. I think it's important that we start with professional and committed workforce. I'm reminded, and our council understands, that no matter what we do from a policy-making standpoint, it doesn't matter if we have a team that isn't committed and willing to go out and execute that. And so I was grateful that our city manager said, Mayor, we really want to work to ensure that all members of the team, city staff, understand what the vision is. And so through that, we launched the inaugural Lancaster University. And so as an employer myself, I understand how much human capital matters, okay? And so through Lancaster University, it was an opportunity where we shut the city down, and all employees, and thank you to Cedar Valley College for hosting us, all employees had the opportunity to really get some professional level training and understand here are the things that we need to do to help carry out and execute the vision of our council and improve customer service. And so it was so well received that we will continue to do that. And hopefully, Dr. Seabrooks, you've got a facility big enough to accommodate everybody that we're gonna send over there. But the other thing too is we continue to stress high performance organization. What we hear from our constituency is that when we call City Hall, we want to be able to get answers, accurate answers, timely information, pertinent information, and solutions to address our issues and challenges. And so through our ongoing high performance organization training that the council supports, we've been able to continue to move in that vein of professional and committed workforce. I think people work oftentimes because they enjoy what they do, and some will tell you, well, I'll do it for free. Okay. Right, I get that. The point though is that as a council, through our budgeting process, we continue to recognize that we need to reinvest in our human capital. And so to the extent that we can, we continue to pass along or approve pay increases for our staff because we recognize that we've got some very talented people in our organization, and we want to keep those people. because ultimately they're going to be the ones that provide the service delivery that we as council expect. And so I'm proud that we continue again to look at ways that we can enhance our staff members' bottom line, because ultimately that is also a way to reward human capital. Certainly as it relates to civic engagement, and we've spent a lot of time over the years trying to determine how can we better engage and connect with our community, both our residents, our business community, our faith community, our educational community. And so let me just give you some of the highlights of that. This 2017 marked the 10th year of our Civic Leadership Academy, where residents or anyone who has who registers can come in and for about 9 weeks get a real foundational understanding of how local government works here in Lancaster. And then those folks can tend to go on to become board and commission members, cheerleaders, volunteers of various sorts. And so we're very proud of that. We have hit nearly 300 people that have come through that program in a 10-year period of time. So very proud of that. We also continue to offer our Citizens Public Safety Academy, where you get the opportunity to learn more about how police and fire work in our community and understand some of the challenges and dynamics that those departments face on a day in and day out basis. National Night Out. We offer the opportunity for that in both August, and man, I was just so glad it wasn't so hot this August. I mean, well, I'm going to tell you. But we offer it in August as well as in October. And every year, we have new neighborhoods that say, we want to be a part of that. We want to continue to foster this notion of getting to know who lives next to us, across the street from us. But more importantly, it's an opportunity for us as council, as executive team, from staff, to connect with our residents in a way that oftentimes we just don't have the luxury. And while it's a fast-paced evening, it still affords us the ability to just connect and say, hey, look, we're here to work for you all, and we're here to serve you all. So very, very much excited about that continuing effort. I touched on this the other night, but some of you may have been around for the tornado here in 2012. And as a result of that, we were able to, through the commitment of people in this community, develop a community emergency response team, or CERT team. And so our CERT team, because they understand the importance of responding in times of need, went to support people at Hurricane Harvey. And so just as those from outside the community and other CERT teams supported us many years ago during our tornado, we had those from our community who say, hey, we want to be a part of this effort, leave our community and help down in Houston after Hurricane Harvey. And so that's, I think that's remarkable, and certainly want to recognize any of the CERT members that are here. Can't say enough about our ongoing partnership with Lancaster ISD. We made a commitment several years ago that we're one community, and to the extent that we can leverage our resources, our knowledge, whatever the case may be, we want to be a part of making Lancaster, both as a city and as a school district, one that is admired, respected. And so we continue to have joint city council, school board trustee meetings. We continue to support their efforts, such as My Brother's Keeper and Sister to Sister. The city, from staff to council, has been very much a part of their Vision 2020 plan. And just so proud of that partnership and the strength that we continue to have as a community because of that. We instituted the LEAP program, Lancaster Eyes and Ears program, a few years ago, because what we said was we can't hire enough people to address some of the issues that we see in the community. So what better way to engage the community by encouraging volunteers to be more participatory. And so as a result of that, this Eyes and Ears program really gives us kind of an extra eye as it relates to code issues. But beyond that, they've evolved to the point of working with residents to do fence repair, lawn mowing, so that they don't become subject to fines or things of that nature. And so it's a way that we are working with the community and not just saying, hey, you have to do this, you have to do that. We're here to help solve problems, and so really, really excited of what I believe will continue to be a great effort in terms of Lancaster Eyes and Ears program for our community. In 2017, through a grant, we launched a mobile outreach library and technology trailer. And so oftentimes we take for granted that we can run over to the library and check something out or look at this. Well, that's not always the case for folks. But we said, hey, if they can't come to us, let's go to the people. And so this trailer has afforded our residents the opportunity to take advantage of the resources that our library has to offer through this particular trailer that our staff applied for a grant for. We said, hey, look, how do we reward those who take pride in their home and in their yard? And so we developed this Best Yard Award program where quarterly we go out and we acknowledge those people who, through a labor of love, said, I want to show my pride in my residents. And we've met with overwhelming success with that particular program. Can't say enough about how we continue to support efforts like Convoy of Hope, which was here for the first time in 10 years. But an initiative with our faith-based community to really help support those who are in need. Also, Society of St. Vincent de Paul, who took over ownership of what we formerly recognized was the Lancaster Outreach Center. And they're in our community and have grand plans to continue to work to address needs for those in our community, and certainly have full support of the city and the city council. We hear a lot about law enforcement, a lot of the negatives that are shared on TV and in media in general. But I'm proud to say that in 2017, the Lancaster Police Department was accredited. I'm proud to say that in 2017, the Lancaster Police Department was accredited. And so thank you to Chief Urbanski and the leadership of the police department. We understand that great communities are safe communities. And I can stand before you and say that statistically, in virtually every crime category, 2017, Lancaster saw a reduction in crime. So, thank you. But I understand that if you are a victim of crime, that doesn't really matter, right? And so as a council, we understand we have to continue to reinvest in human capital. And so what we are finding and what every law enforcement agency in the Metroplex, in the state, and really in the country is finding that competition is tough. But more importantly, the standards by which we want to have the type of law enforcement professionals on the street daily, we're not willing to compromise on that. So what we've said as a council is, okay, how can we go about recruiting the best and the brightest? And so from a budgetary standpoint, we authorized in our budget in 2017 an incentive program so that we can try to recruit the best and brightest professionals to serve as law enforcement officials in our city. And so excited to see what that will yield in the coming months and weeks. Our fire department, I can't say enough about what they continue to do day in and day out to provide service to our residents and even non-residents as those who are traveling through the city. But 6,500 calls for service in 2017. Just a tremendous amount of activity, but they do it with a smile, they do it with pride, they do it with professionalism that I believe is second to none. And so, Chief, thank you for your leadership as it relates to the fire department. So, we established as a council this health and wellness initiative. What we have come to learn through our relationship with Best Southwest Partnership is we have some real health disparity challenges in Lancaster. And there are certainly challenges in the region. But the council has recognized that from a governance standpoint, there are things that we can do to promote, to encourage, and to support healthy living and healthy lifestyle options. Many of you may recall that 2 years ago, our community participated with a number of communities across the state in the It's Time Texas Challenge. And the first year we came in second place. And so the second year, my good colleague from a town that I won't name, no, it's Ray Smith, mayor up in Prosper. So we said, okay, they won, and we came in second the first year. And so we said, okay, where we do a little friendly wager. What I can tell you is I don't intend to be at another council meeting with another city's t-shirt on. How about that? So on your table, you have information about the It's Time Texas Challenge. And so I'm encouraging everyone in this room, you can sign up and you can participate. If you're in the business community, even you may not live here, you can still participate, and your support can go towards the city of Lancaster, okay? Because we want to win this thing, guys, all right? And we can't do it without everybody's support, the business community, the faith community, our residents in general. And while it's all in good fun and competition, it really, I believe, and I think many of you understand the importance of being healthy. And being healthy is not just a look, okay? Being healthy is making sure that you're doing what you need to do to take care of your body, because we all know and have been affected by those who we know and love that unfortunately have dealt with health issues and have seen how challenging that can be. So the council has said, let's roll up all of these health opportunities under this initiative. And so we will be establishing a permanent health and fitness council, and we'll be looking for volunteers for that here in the near future, so that can be an ongoing initiative. I also want to talk about our Playful City USA designation. So along the same vein, we recognize that people need to be out, be active. And as a council, we look for all opportunities where we can enhance that. Fortunately, through the efforts of our staff, we applied for a grant through the Kaboom Foundation. And what the Kaboom Foundation does is they marry communities with corporate partners to build a playground. And so many of us in this room got our hands dirty and spent a day sweating and attaching stuff and lifting stuff and digging stuff and shoveling stuff. But because we were the recipient of that grant, we were able to replace an aging, in fact, out of service park here in the city, Kid Square Park on Beltline, with this new state-of-the-art playground. Again, because we recognize the importance, and our community has said, hey, why can't we access this park anymore? And because of some safety issues, we said, hey, it's no longer a viable park, but we have a plan. And so we were able to erect that park back in October, and it's been met with widespread appreciation, and it's a beautiful park, and grateful to the Kaboom Foundation. And I think what struck me most importantly was they really, really appreciated how our community rallied around this effort. We had volunteers from not only our community, but from Allstate, who happened to be our corporate sponsor, and just a number of other entities that say, hey, this is a great effort, a great cause that we want to support. And the weather was great. It was a beautiful day. And in the end, we erected a park that for a generation will serve this community. Also, we received the Scenic City designation. Only one of 13 cities in the state of Texas to receive that designation in 2017. We recognize that Lancaster has its inherent beauty, and we want to continue to celebrate that and promote that. And as a result, we were able to be selected as one of 13 cities for the Scenic City designation, which is a great source of community pride. Along the same health and wellness line of thinking, the city of Lancaster adopted a no smoking ordinance for restaurants. We feel and felt as a council very strongly that while smoking may be something that you choose to do, you just can't do it in restaurants anymore here in Lancaster. And that's important because from a patron standpoint, but also from employees. And we believe that that sends a strong message to our community. And I've received numerous emails since we passed that ordinance of people thanking us for evolving to that point in the life of our community. Because again, it is something that I think progressive communities recognize as very important. Would you believe that in 2017, the Lancaster City Council was recognized as City Council of the Year by the Texas City Managers Association? Thank you. Thank you. So that in and of itself is a tremendous recognition, and we are all very honored and humbled that we've been recognized for that. And it's really based on our commitment to strategic planning, but also aligning those strategic goals with our budgetary process and making sure that we have the resources to support those goals. And so every year the TCMA recognizes a community, and so it just so happened that in 2017 Lancaster was the recipient of that recognition. And as a result, we were able to present to our colleagues at our State Municipal League Conference in October to a full room, quite frankly, of folks wanting to understand, how did you guys get there? What are you doing? And how do we go about setting a course where we can achieve the types of things that your community is achieving? And so it really is a testament to what we've tried to do as a council in conjunction with our staff, all for the benefit of our residents. And I think that has to be underscored, that what we do really is for the benefit of our constituents, understanding that they have needs and desires, and it's our job, and we've been placed and entrusted with helping to meet those needs and desires. I talked to Sonia Cole Hamilton, and I said, Sonia, can you believe that the Lancaster ISD School Board of Trustees was recognized as School Board of the Year? And then here we are 6 months later being recognized for City Council of the Year. Now, I don't know of any community where both the school board and the city have been recognized for those two honors, let alone in that period of time. So, So you know, it just speaks to what we're doing and working towards here in this community. Certainly, you can't talk about the state of the city and local government without referencing fiscal stewardship. And I know that there are varying degrees of that amongst our council, right, Marco? But we all understand that we have to utilize the taxpayers' dollars in the most responsible manner. And so we have great debate about that at times, but in the end, we've been recognized for our fiscal stewardship. So again, the city received a transparency award from the state comptroller's office, because what we're saying is, hey, you want to know what we're doing with the money? We're happy to tell you. We're happy to show you. Okay. Our finance department received a certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. So again, folks, this notion of where's the money going, and look, we are happy to educate you all or anyone on what we're doing to be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. And over the years, we've had credit rating increases, and every time we are on a rating call with the rating agencies, they continue to be impressed with the growth and progress and the fiscal policies and the strength of our fiscal management. And so that is certainly an indicator of the direction that this city is going from a fiscal management standpoint. And we look forward to continued solid fiscal stewardship. So Baron, kudos to you. All right. So I was at a breakfast the other day and was introduced to two individuals, not knowing what they did, but just who they were. So, kind of the standard question for most mayors is, well, hey, how are things going in the city? What's going on? And I tend to be a little modest. I know, well, I have that bad. I'm sorry. But I joked about, well, we got all these things going on, but what I really find sexy is roads and streets and so so these two folks just have, I kind of said it tongue in cheek, obviously, but these two folks happen to be engineers. So they're like, hey, yeah, well, let's talk about roads and streets, man. What are you guys doing down there? We recognize that this community has experienced growth, is poised for more growth. But I want to share you just a little bit about what we did in 2017 alone. Beltline Road between I-35 and Blue Grove. You can see at night now. We've got street lights on Beltline Road, which has been something in the works for a number of years, but can't tell you enough about how many people have said, oh, Mayor, I so appreciate y'all for putting those lights up, street lights up along Beltline. But again, we recognize the needs. We have to plan for that, and steadily we keep checking the boxes. So excited about street lights on Beltline Road. A number of roadway projects, in fact, too many for me to mention. A couple that I will share with you that have been significant. Lancaster Hutchins Road here on the east side of town. We recognize that road has needed some work for a long time and got a complete resurface. Rogers Avenue, and so many others. What we're doing is we're utilizing community development block funds, partnerships with Dallas County Road and Bridge. Wherever we can leverage relationships and resources, we are committed to reinvesting dollars into road work and street work. In 2017, we authorized the contract and funding for Pleasant Run Road. Where's Joe Johnson? Joe Johnson. Every time Joe Johnson comes to eat in town, he sends me a text. Hey, man, what you guys gonna do about Pleasant Run Road? Okay, but so the survey teams have assessed the road, and while we approved it in 2017, in 2018, you will see significant road work occurring along Pleasant Run between I-35 and Dallas Avenue. And so what I'm going to say next is, don't email me talking about how, man, all this construction traffic is keeping me from getting to work. I can't get to work on time. What's going on? But again, a continued commitment to reinvest in our community. Our sidewalk replacement program, we introduced that a year or so ago, where areas in the community that are aging, particularly those where trees have kind of uprooted the sidewalks. We have a match program where we work with residents to come in and lay new sidewalk. It's not only a safety issue, but it's certainly an aesthetic issue, and excited about the continued momentum that we are gaining with that particular program. All right, let's talk about the real big stuff. 4 million. What is he talking about? 4 million. 4 million. That would be square feet of new development in 2017 alone in Lancaster. 4 million square feet of new development, representing roughly $155 million in value. That's 1 year, guys. 1 year. And there's more coming. But Lancaster and the value proposition that we offer is now home to developers like Copeland Commercial, Principal Real Estate Investors, Huntington Industrial Partners, Holtz Lumford, Crow Holdings, Duke. And I will say this about Duke Realty. Duke Realty in partnership with Wayfair. So how many of you understand what Wayfair is? You get on your computer, you order stuff online, and it just shows up, right? So Duke Realty, in conjunction with Wayfair, is right now, in 2017, broke ground on the 875,000 square foot e-fulfillment center here in Lancaster, right at 35 and West Road. That is a significant project that's going to create millions of dollars in tax revenue and hundreds of jobs. That's just one project, guys. And I've mentioned many of these other developers that are in the community that are developing projects of significant size that will not only increase our tax base, but also our employment base. And so it's our commitment to ensuring that Lancaster is a place where you can do business and do it in a manner that's fair and reasonable and equitable. And I'm just excited about the fact that there's still more coming. Now, with that comes responsibility. Certainly, I understand that. But know and understand that commercial development is alive and well in Lancaster. We just approved an incentive package for a new hotel here in Lancaster. Actually, two hotels. One at Daniel and I-35, okay, and the other at Wintergreen and I-35. And these are nationally branded hotels. So we're excited about that, and that has been a vision of council for some time now. I will say this, and I mentioned you have to manage this growth. So last year we completed our comprehensive planning process, where we say, okay, this is the blueprint for how we believe our city should develop. But some years ago, as a council, we said, we've got to look at how we utilize our economic development programs and incentives to really help drive or undergird how we believe growth should occur in this community through our comprehensive planning process. And so in 2017, we engaged Wildan to help us develop a comprehensive economic development program that will support the growth that we are seeking to achieve and the industry that we want to attract here to Lancaster, because diversity in your tax base is the key to longevity. And so we understand and know that while we are grateful for some of the logistics centers these logistics centers that are here and are coming, we also know that light manufacturing and other types of industry will be very important to sustain our community for decades to come. Companies, even small companies like Texas Nameplate Manufacturing, just erected a beautiful state-of-the-art 35,000 square foot facility in the Longhorn Industrial Park. And they are focused on sustainability in their business practices. And those are the kind of things from a relational standpoint we want to try to help share with other industry here in the city. And also become enlightened as a government, because there are things that we can do to enhance our sustainability efforts and certainly reduce our carbon footprint. So folks, I think you can tell I'm a little bullish on Lancaster. I know for a fact that this council and this staff is committed to achieving great heights. And I'm so grateful that so many community partners are here with us to understand where we've come from, but more importantly, where we're going. And recognizing that we've got work to do. And there are issues related to transportation and mobility, workforce development, Dr. Seabrooks. So there are a number of issues that this council will continue to work through, and to the extent that we can make change and affect change and create policies to support those, enhancing those opportunities, we're committed to do that. And so that's, I think that's what I wanted to share with you all on this particular day. I appreciate the Chamber of Commerce for, again, affording the opportunity for the Office of the Mayor to be able to share some highlights about what's happening in the community. I'll leave you with this. So I'm going to employ a sports analogy as I get ready to take my seat, but I'm a football fan, and I appreciate the position of the quarterback. And so if any of you study the quarterback position, you know that you're taught that there's always a clock that you have to have running in your head, right? All right, to be able to make the play, execute the play, or get out of a bad situation, right? I use that analogy because as your mayor, I have a clock in my head. And while I have been thoroughly grateful for this opportunity to serve this community, I recognize that my clock is up. And so this is my 10th and final State of the City address as your mayor. I know and understand that what we've done from a foundational standpoint as a council and as a staff is very much sustainable. And I'm grateful to have been a part of that process. But I also know that it's my time. And so for these next, I think 6 months I have city manager, for these next 6 months, I'm going to give you everything that I've ever had to ensure that we continue to do what we need to do as a community. But I think you all need to understand and recognize that in a democracy, there is change and there is transition. And so I stand here recognizing that I believe I've done what I was placed here to do. And so I have resolve in that. Now that doesn't mean I may have a moment here or two along the way as we progress, but I'm just excited about where we've come as a community, where we can go, and what we can be, and I believe will be as a community. But thank you all for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the criticism. I needed it. Thank you for everything that anyone has done along my journey. I am grateful for it. I'm better because of it. And perhaps in the future there'll be opportunity where we can have greater discussion about my tenure as your mayor. But I want you all to leave here excited, because I'm excited about where we are going as a community. We've got work to do, council, staff, and I'm gonna make you work now. Don't I'm not letting off the gas. So, to the chamber, Lorenzo, under your chairmanship, look for great things under your leadership. And with that, I'm gonna take my seat and I'm gonna turn it back over to you all so that we can close out this program. So thank you all so much for your time and attention.